and Facebook.
Okay.
Facebook group and Facebook page. So.
Okay, so says she's seeing us, but let me see, did you get the link?
You say Viviana?
Oh, let's bring her on. There she is.
Okay.
You got it, Tawana?
Um,
If not, I have it.
no, I think you're the host. I'm sorry.
Hello, everybody on YouTube and on Facebook. We hope you're doing well tonight.
Hi, Viviana.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Good.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you as well.
There.
Thank you.
Okay. Well, we're going to get started in a couple of minutes. A lot of the community is going to be watching from social media
Okay.
tonight. So we have a couple of people here already on Facebook. So hello, everybody. Don't forget to put your city and state in the chat so we can recognize you in the house. Want to say hello here. We have a very exciting topic. One of Tawana's favorite topics, I must say, and actually one of mine too, because it is all about how to invest in hotels. So, actually, Talisha was the one that introduced us to Tracy, and we're super excited to have Tracy and Viviana here today. They have an exciting company called She Has a Deal, and they're here to talk about that. They're here to talk about how we can invest in hotels, how we can hopefully invest in them for passive income. Or if we want to be like owner operators, we can do that too. There's just so much information that Tracy has with regards to investing in hotels. But before we do that, you may be asking, who are you? Hi, everybody. I am Cherie, and this is Tawana, and we are the co-founders of the 10K Project. We are the largest community of small dollar investors who actively fund Black-owned businesses. Somebody said to me a couple of days ago, you all are like a Black Shark Tank, right? And I said, well, kind of, but we do so much more than Shark Tank. So what we have is a community of people who invest in Black businesses. And each week we invite an entrepreneur to come to our community in order to talk about their businesses. And they are raising money through something called crowdfunding. Equity crowdfunding, which is governed by the Securities and Exchange Commission and FINRA. So they come, they present their business to our community. The community gets to ask that founder questions, and then each individual person gets to decide if they want to invest in that business. Minimum investment is oftentimes $100. So it's affordable for pretty much everybody. And it is a great way for you to invest in the stock market or the market like the rich do, because that's what they do. They do what Snoop did with Robinhood. He bought it 19 cents and Robinhood ended up IPOing at around $38. So, we can't guarantee those returns. However, if you build a portfolio, the data shows that you do have really nice returns with this asset class. So the 10kproject.com, if you want to learn more about what we're doing. Also, Tawana, we're having our Family and Friend Day on Monday.
Family and Friend Day.
Yes. So it's going to be a lot of fun, games, prizes. We have a $100 Amazon gift card to the person who invites the most people. Now, your people must be in attendance for you to win. We also are going to have other games and prizes. We were talking about that earlier today, and you all just want to come check it out. More importantly, we are talking about how we can use and leverage our small dollars in order to create wealth for ourselves, our families, and the community at large, how we can practice group economics using this law that so many of us are not using, and how we can just build Black wealth together. And we also have two special guests coming on as well. So, Tawana, did I miss anything with
Nope.
regards to?
You covered
any-
everything.
Okay, perfect. Well, then let's jump in and say hello to Tracy. Hi, Tracy.
Hey, Cherie. Hi, Tawana. How are you?
Hello, my dear. Hello, Viviana again.
Now, I am loving those glasses too. Those
Oh,
are
thanks.
fierce.
Thanks.
Like, see, I have my glasses. These are my American glasses here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. You're styling today with the glasses. So, tell us a little bit about yourself and, how you got into investing in hotels and just all of that, because so many of us think that this is not something we can even do. So, how did you even learn about this?
Sure. Well, I started investing in real estate about 20 years ago, and I really did it to enhance my retirement. I learned about it through my financial advisor and also my mother, who would stay up late at night and hear things on TV about how you can become rich investing in real estate. She sent me a whole kit on how to do it. And I thought that was destiny when two individuals sent me the information within weeks apart. And so I started doing research. My financial advisor gave me the book for onboarding called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. I read that book and it really opened my eyes to the potential that was there. And so I went on a journey to understand everything I could about investing in real estate and just started buying single family homes, condos, townhomes, fixing them up and renting them out for cash flow. And so that's how I got involved in real estate. And then when the bubble was happening in real estate, I don't even remember the year, 2005 or so, I was finding it very difficult, excuse me, to identify deals that made sense, deals that cash flow, because my philosophy, my rental or investment thesis was around cash flowing property. So I figured I could, if it cash flowed, I could buy as many as possible. And so I was not going to be a speculator. I didn't have the kind of cash to become a speculator. I really was looking for ways to, again, enhance my retirement, build that cash flow, which in Robert Kiyosaki's book, he talks about financial independence. And so being able to generate passive income, at least to a level that would allow you to, cover all your living expenses. So I made that a goal and started investing. But when the bubble came about, there were no deals out there that were cash flowing in my area. And so I decided I wanted to graduate to commercial real estate. So I took a class, and it was there that I learned that hotels were a special asset class and that you could invest in hotels. And because I traveled extensively for work at the time, I stayed in a lot of hotels and I loved staying in a good hotel. I decided I wanted to focus on hotels.
Very cool. Go ahead, Tawana. Are you you're on
Oh,
mute.
I was just going to say very cool, just like you said, just very.
I'm just always so amazed at how people like really do discover, like, all of a sudden you have an idea of, let me just go to this class, or let me listen to this webinar, or let me, get into this group. And then all of a sudden you discover, so much with regards to investing. So Viviana, I'd love to introduce you, or have you introduce yourself also, and tell people a little bit about yourself.
Sure. Thank you for having us here. I'm excited to speak upon She Has a Deal and work with Tracy. My name is Viviana. I have background in hotel operations, went to school to study hospitality and tourism management. And my school participated in the inaugural She Has a Deal pitch competition in 2020. And not really knowing what I was getting myself into. So I did not have any real estate background, whether it being commercial real estate or hotels. It was just, something I was interested in, wanted to challenge myself. And after I did the whole pitch competition from beginning to end, I was very inspired as to just so many new roadways to go to in the hospitality industry. You don't have to just be a GM or a front desk manager. Now, in my mind, I'm like, wow, I can actually own a hotel, or I can work on the development side. I can be a sponsor, what Tracy is doing. So with that being said, I reached out to her and an opportunity came up to work under TLT Solutions, as well as be a part of the Shad Squad, which She Has a Deal. So now I'm on the background, planning the event and speaking to all the new women in the new pitch competition for this year and then last year as well. So it's been an exciting journey. I am continuously learning so much. But like I said before, it was eye-opening. I didn't know anything, and now I know so much. So I'm excited to be a part of the group of women that are really trying to, be hotel owners, hopefully one day.
Yeah, so
Great.
Viviana
what-
went from operating hotels, working at the front desk and
Mhm.
having a goal of, being a general manager to now understanding how the whole investment process works, and you can actually underwrite a whole deal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, it's been great. I learned so much and I continue to learn, and it's been amazing. I've met so many people, and all the women from the pitch competition. I mean, from my teammates and colleagues and competitors that I competed with to now all the people that are applying right now. It's just been amazing. So yeah.
Great. So I have a question about She Has a Deal focuses on women, but number one, why women? And number two, can men get in too? So just in case we have some guys
That's a great
watching.
question. So She Has a Deal does focus on women, but She Has a Deal, really didn't define it. So really, She Has a Deal is a platform. It's a real estate investment platform. And our mission is to create pathways to hotel ownership and development for women. However, we really care about underrepresented minorities, such as Black people. I'm one of those. And so I knew I experienced the challenges that it takes to get into an industry where you're not, historically or, normally recognized or a part of a particular industry. And so we do definitely welcome men to our platform. So our platform is not just a pitch competition. We're really known for our pitch competition, but we have master classes. And so we're educating people on how to invest in hotels. With our 9-stage hotel investment roadmap, anyone can join our masterclass and learn. So of course, anyone can join, but the majority of our students are people of color and women. So we target women, but men who are underrepresented or, don't have the network to learn about hotel investing, find what we have to offer very valuable. And so we do have, in our masterclass, we've had a total, it's not the majority, but we have had a total of 6 men who have taken our masterclasses. So while they are not eligible to compete in our pitch competition, they can still learn and network, with our community. And hopefully we'll have He Has a Deal sometime soon.
I love it. Tawana, do you have any other questions? Because I think they have a presentation.
I just want to see the presentation. I want to know about the deal.
Show us the deal. Okay, so Viviana, you should be able to share. Do you see that at the bottom? Perfect. I'm going to put myself on mute unless you guys need me.
Okay, great. So, what we put together today is just to share a little bit about Shad Prosperity Fund 1. So She Has a Deal. It's a multicultural women platform for women where we are creating pathways to hotel ownership and development for women. We do have a signature pitch competition where what we do for women who apply and are accepted, what they do is they join us and they enroll. Once they are enrolled, they go through an educational process. And I mentioned before, we have a 9-stage hotel investment roadmap. So we're really teaching these women and the men that join our master classes, but this particular masterclass is specific for women. We are teaching these women how to do everything related to hotel investment. So everything from, sourcing the deal, developing their investment thesis, what are they going to do with a particular property, whether they build it or acquire it, then we go on to talk about, how do you take control of that asset? And that's, getting it under contract so that you can do your due diligence to ensure that whatever thesis you had or whatever your business plan is for that particular asset, you want to confirm that it can actually be accomplished. And so, we take you through that whole process. I think one of the biggest values in our competition is, we're teaching you how to do due diligence, which is, you have to do your financial model. You have to understand if this project is feasible, how much money is this investment expected to return? So we're teaching you all of that. We're even giving you tools and templates to be successful in that due diligence process. But the value, I believe, for our community of Black people and women who have been underrepresented, or who also, there's also a significant wealth gap. We all know that. And so what we're doing is teaching people also, how do you raise capital? So how do you put together an offering where you can go out and raise equity so they can close on that deal? So I will tell you that there was no way possible that I would have been able to acquire a hotel on my own. When I found out about syndication, which is what we teach and what I do as a syndicator, as a sponsor, it's another name for it, as a sponsor or manager, of the investment, I put everything together. I have the expertise, but after I've done all the due diligence and I know this is a hotel I want to invest in, I go out and I find individuals like all of you who are aspiring to hotel ownership in any shape or form. I go out and find investors who will co-own that hotel with me. Now, we do all the heavy lifting so that you as investors can enjoy the passive income. So we're not looking necessarily for active investors, we're looking for passive investors. You can invest your money and then you would receive the passive income. So She Has a Deal is about teaching women and the men who join our master classes how to become a sponsor. Or for those who are saying, listen, I just want to invest. I don't want to be the person who is responsible or leading the efforts. I want to put my money in and I want to earn some passive income. Well, through our master classes, you can also become a savvier investor. And so we're teaching you how to, read offering documents and financial analyses so you can make, an informative decision about, what you invest in and make sure it matches your investment goals, but also who you invest with and making sure that deal is as solid as you can expect it to be. Now, no investment is going to be 100% proof, but there are things to mitigate against or to weed through as you look at investments. So every year we do this pitch competition. We are currently taking applications. So if any of you are interested or know a woman who is interested in hotel ownership, we have 2 tracks this year. So I'm super excited. So initially we started out with just the early career track, which was for women in school or 3 years out of school. So that early careers who hasn't made that decision as to, where they want to go with respect to their career, we want to expose and inspire them to hotel ownership. So like Viviana, they may shift in their focus in their career, what positions they take, or even if they have the wherewithal to go ahead and invest in a hotel right away, or become a sponsor right away, we're here to provide that knowledge. Our second track, which is super exciting, this is the first year we're starting it. It's called Today's Woman, and Today's Woman is for the seasoned professional that has the wherewithal to close a hotel deal today. And so that woman, knows, I want to be a hotel owner. I want to be a sponsor of hotel investments, but I don't really have all the knowledge I need to be successful. So we're here to provide those women with support and additional resources and things that they need to be successful and close a deal. So I just wanted to introduce you to She Has a Deal because the fund that I want to talk about today, where we're raising capital. Now, we're not raising on a crowdfunding regulation today. We may see ourselves doing that in the future because, the limits for the raise of a crowd fund, a CF raise is now up to 5 million. And so we are really excited that that's an option. So the women that work, with us, they may have the opportunity to use that, and we may use that as an organization in the future. But today we raise under Reg D, under a 506C. So today I just wanted to cover why we formed Shad Prosperity Fund One, what that structure looks like, and how investing in the fund might benefit you. I hope that this will also be educational for you, because I'm sure many of you have different businesses, or you may be looking at other deals, whether it's hotels or other type of real estate investments, and you may just want to learn a little bit more about how that investment world, that private equity, we call it syndication, works. And syndication is just really bringing people together to invest. It could be real estate, or it could be a business, but there's a sponsor, the person who puts the whole deal together, and then there's the investors. So syndication is really bringing people together. It's that collective economics that Cherise spoke about earlier. So we wanted to talk about that. So next slide, I want to ask Viviana just to talk a little bit about why women, and why it's important for us to raise a fund to support women-led projects. And these are specifically for hotels for this particular fund, but we will be expanding She Has a Deal to other real estate asset classes in the future. We're in discussions about doing that. But it's really important to kind of understand why we created this fund and why we need all of you to invest in the fund, so that we can really have an impact on society, on our country.
Yes, thank you so much, Tracy. So as she said, I'm going to speak on the background as to why we're focusing on women in the industry, and really the social impact that the Shad Prosperity Fund One will have if you invest. So for those of you who are entrepreneurs or have had exposure to entrepreneurship, you know that capital and steady access to it are vital keys to success for most enterprises. And as we looked into some of the factors limiting the number of women in hotel entrepreneurship, we realized that access to capital was a significant barrier. So why are women, who in 2020 represented a little over half of the US population, so underfunded when it comes to capital for their business enterprises? Well, while we don't have all the answers to that question, we believe that a lack of female leadership and representation in these leadership ranks where capital deployment decisions are made is a major contributor to this disparity. So according to the Castell Project, every female chief in the hospitality development and investment sector, there are 1 woman and 16.9 men. So a quote from Artemis Real Estate Partners, co-founder and CEO Deborah Harmon, really brings home the current state of affairs of the real estate investment sector for women. In a recent interview with Leaders Magazine, Ms. Harmon pointed out that out of the 950 real estate private equity firms operated in the last 10 years, only 1.8% of these firms were women-owned. As you can see, we have ground to gain and progress to make in the area of female representation in hotel ownership and development. And what we are noticing in the world today is that women and underrepresented minorities are underrepresented in commercial real estate ownership and development and have limited access to capital. So the burning question is really why we're here today is what must happen for this to change? Well, there is no doubt that women are needed in the business world, specifically in the hotel real estate industry. Diversity and inclusion bring a different perspective to hotel investment. Metrics show that women-led ventures outperform. Women are also likely to invest in other women, which will create more opportunities and assortment of business ideas. Because of all these reasons listed here, Tracy Prigmer began She Has a Deal, and now the Shad Prosperity Fund One.
Thank you, Viviana. So, essentially, it only makes sense that ownership is the new glass ceiling. So we've broken many barriers in the executive ranks and levels of many industries and organizations. We still have room to go, but ownership is there's a huge gap on the ownership side. And so that's why I founded She Has a Deal, is to really focus on ownership for women of all women, multicultural women, but people of color, particularly Black people, because there has been a much greater disparity. And we all know about the institutional racism that has occurred that's kept us from gaining the wealth that we know we're capable of gaining. So we have Prosperity Fund One, which is going to give us a competitive advantage in the market space. And maybe not an advantage per se, because there's lots of money out there. But what it does do is help us to be on an even playing field with those, developers, the larger groups, the males who are dominating the field. So with SHAD Prosperity Fund, we're raising equity proactively so that we can compete for those projects. And so all of you are aware, with COVID, has been a huge, decline in revenues in the hotel industry because of the, stay-at-home orders and just the decline in business travel, as well as conventions and conferences. And so there are a lot of opportunities that we expect to come available, with allowing more underrepresented minorities to enter into the field. But what is going to be the barrier? What is the barrier is access to capital. So we are proactively raising capital so we can compete for when opportunities are available, that we have a chance to compete for those particular assets, because the sellers want to know and have confidence that you are able to close. We also want to have this fund available so that we can support women from the Today's Women competition and those projects that are being pitched during the pitch competition. So everything with in SHAD Prosperity Fund will go to fund the projects that we directly invest in as a firm, that my firm TLT Solutions, as well as projects that are feasible that we are a part of with SHAD Prosperity Fund One. So those will be projects that originate from the pitch competition. So with the pitch competition, again, just to reiterate for you, we're exposing and inspiring these young women, as well as those seasoned professionals. We're educating them so that they know exactly what to do. We have 2 classes of women who are participating in Today's Women. There's the women who are very versed, very experienced in hospitality, but they don't know the investment side of the business, or they haven't had access to the investment side of the business. And then we have those on the other side, which is like myself. I grew up in a different industry. I invested in real estate and decided that I wanted to have hotels be my asset class of focus. So those are the 2 types of groups of women. So they're very capable of being successful in the business, and we want to be here to support them. And so, a real estate fund is when you're putting monies together so that you can accomplish a diverse portfolio of commercial assets. So we want to purchase different assets, different hotel assets in different markets. And the advantage of that, by having a portfolio as opposed to an investment in one hotel, is that if there is any type of downturn or any kind of market condition that occurs, you're not just depending on the income from one hotel. You have the other hotels to balance out any downturns or any type of adversity that might happen with one of the assets. You have the others to balance against it. So we expect to acquire a diverse portfolio where we're looking, we're in different markets, and then we have a specific type of asset, but we would do some acquisitions that are value adds. And then we would also do, we may do some ground up or some repositioning or adaptive reuse. Those things are more opportunistic. So those 2 terms, in case you don't know. So value add would be something where you are, having to do something, a little bit of lifting to that asset for it to produce more income. So in our business, When we talk about value add, it may be a hotel that is older and needs to be modernized. And so we've done a project like that. We took an old Hampton Inn and we put $3.2 million in it to bring it to a modern look and feel. And of course, with that, we have increased our average daily rates. We might do a ground up. A ground up would be opportunistic. That's the highest risk, but the returns are always, or not always, but for the most part, will be greater, when you're creating the value from going from dirt to an actual, income producing asset. There is such thing as a core asset as well. And core is just if you're buying something. In our case, we would buy a hotel that's already cash flowing. We may tweak or improve operations to get more value out of that asset. But in general, it's already producing income and is seen to have a lower risk than the ones that are value add or opportunistic. So we're focused on, hotels that will produce steady cash flows and have potential for value appreciation. So essentially, for those who may not invest in real estate already, one of the benefits of investing in real estate is that, in general, for the most part, real estate goes up in value. So you're trying to, find something that's producing cash flow and income for you today, but also when you dispose of that asset, it will have increased in value, and therefore you will make even more money from having the asset. And we are in a great opportunity as a fund, but also for any of you who want to invest in real estate. I think it's a great time. It's always a great time for real estate, quite honestly, in my opinion, but you want assets that appreciate. So it's a time to invest in assets that appreciate. And so for our fund, we're targeting $20 million for this first fund. And we expect to find assets that produce an 8% annual cash on cash return. And as an investor, you have a preferred return of that 8% annually. And we're targeting a 20% internal rate of return. And that 20% IRR, the IRR takes in consideration what we would sell that asset for once, again, that appreciation occurs. Our fund life is about a 7 to 10 year period. We would hold each asset for 5 to 6 years in general. And that gives enough time for us to hopefully, what our goal is to double the return for a particular asset. Next slide. So what does the structure of our fund look like? So with the fund, Prosperity Fund 1, TLT Solutions, that's my firm, we're the fund manager. So we're the fiduciary responsible party. We sign on, we take on the risk of the loan. And when it's a branded property, we take on the risk of the franchise agreements. And then what we do is, we put all that together. You invest your cash passively, and you obtain A shares in the fund. And then we, as sponsors and the risk takers for the actual deal, the fund manager, we're B shares. So we would earn income if we are successful. So you have a preferred return. So we don't get paid until you get paid and have the return, the 8% preferred return. Then the fund is the one that would own the assets. So you, as an investor, you own a piece of the fund, and the fund is an LLC, a limited liability company. And that limited liability company allows you to invest with no exposure. So you're only at risk for the money that you invest in the fund. As the fund manager, we take on some other risks that are associated with the particular asset. And that's why we are earning, our share of the income and net proceeds from the particular assets that would be in the fund. Okay, so just as an example, the way it works is Shad Prosperity Fund would seek to acquire assets that come out of the She Has a Deal pitch competition. So we have probably anywhere from, I don't know, 16 to 20 teams that are out looking for deals that will be presenting those deals. In addition to that, we also are reviewing deal flow for deals that come to us that are not necessarily from the pitch competition, but just from our relationships. And so then you would invest in the fund, as I mentioned before, and then the fund, you and other investors, and then the fund would buy those particular properties with the money that is raised in the fund. We would also leverage, and leverage means we'll get a loan for the property. So each property we would probably put down 30 to 35%, depending on market conditions. So depending on the capital markets and the asset itself, we may put down anything from 25 to 35% on a particular asset. And then that asset, is a operating business and that produces income. And then the income that's produced, the net cash flow after we pay all the bills, and we put aside money for reserves for a rainy day and also for capital improvements if necessary, then the net cash flow gets distributed on a quarterly basis to you as the investor. So the way that you would receive your return, I'm going to just show you an example. You want to go to the next slide. Okay, so this is a busy slide. So see if I can break this down. So an example of a ROI calculation is, let's just say one of the assets, or let's just say all, it could be all or just one, but in this case, it's probably just one. One of the assets, let's say we have distributable cash. So after we paid all the bills, and we put away a little bit of money for future, just in case, if we raised $10 million, for a particular project for this fund, I did 10,000 just to keep round numbers here, and the preferred return is $8,000 a year for a $10 million investment. Our ownership split is 60-40, which means the investors take 60% and the general partners, which is the fund manager, are 40%. So that would be TLT Solutions and any partners that we might bring to the table to invest in a particular project, depending on the size and scope of the project. But let's go back to the box here. So year one, distributable cash, if it's $800,000, then $800,000 would go completely to the investors. There's no split because it only met the 8% preferred return. So 100% goes to the investors. Then in year two, because things get better as you progress in an investment, usually, and they should, that's the goal. We now have $980,000 of distributable cash flow. So if you divide 980 by the 10 million invested, then that's a 9.8% return. So that would mean that $9,080 would go to investors, and then there would be a split of the remaining amount of money. And so again, this particular example is for individual investing $100,000 in the deal. So I apologize, I didn't say that up front, but this is for a $100,000 example. So if you invest $100,000 in the deal, this is what you would get, not all the investors, you individually with your $100,000. And so when the additional funds are distributed, so the 60% of all of the distributable cash is given to the investors, there's a 40% left. And so you would get 1% of that 40%. So your total in that particular year is the $9,080. And I did not explain that well, I apologize. But essentially, you have to get your 8% before the fund managers would get a return. So it's really like a success fee for taking on the risk and for managing the asset to success. Then the managers actually would earn or get their income from the asset. So when the asset is sold, in this case, we're saying we're going to sell the asset for $18 million. Now, once the asset is sold, then the original equity goes back to the investors, okay? And then 60% is left to distribute to investors on a 60-40 split. But you as an investor are getting 1% of the net proceeds, which is $48,000. And then you have your $100,000 you get back. So in this case, you're doubling your money in this example. So hopefully that makes sense. But the important thing to remember is that as an investor, whatever the preferred return is, you get that before any of the sponsors get paid. You get your preferred return first, and whatever the split is, that is applied to the excess of the 8%. Okay.
Awesome. Okay, so moving a little bit forward, so where are we targeting, right? What kind of hotels are we looking for? I know Tracy mentioned a little bit earlier, but I'll go a little bit in depth before we go to some questions if we have time. So here's just an example of some of the brands that the Shad Prosperity Fund 1 would invest in. As you can see, most are select service and extended stay. These brands have loyal guests who, when traveling, choose to stay here because of their brand, right? Marriott, Hilton, I'm sure all of you have traveled, whether it be business or with family, you rely, they're loyal. And all of these brands are also sponsors to She Has a Deal. So we have a great relationship with them, and they fully support our mission. And as well with project management partners, so we want to, or TLT Solutions, we partner with diverse, best-in-class property managers who work diligently to optimize asset performance and profitability. So we make sure that we manage these property management partners so that they can manage the hotel, and then the hotel can perform at its best, outperform the market so that you can get your return and guests are happy. With every unique asset, we work strategically to identify third-party managers based on the specific characteristic and needs of each property. So again, each property is unique. PM might not work well with a specific property, so we make sure that we choose the right ones in that market. And here are some of the examples. The ones that TLT Solutions works with right now: Hotel Equities, Wintergreen Hospitality, and PM Hotel Group. And so where do we invest, right? So again, we talked about the type of hotel, what kind of property managers we would seek for. So during the underwriting process, TLT Solutions will analyze the market intelligence to really evaluate if the deal makes sense, especially coming out of COVID. As you all know, some cities are doing better than others. Hopefully that will end soon, and most cities will get back within 2023, 2024. But we do look at the markets that are recovering well and are at peak levels from COVID currently. And we will be strategically investing in emerging and supporting markets. So emerging markets are defined as markets that either have had significant demand growth above a national average of 5% within the past 5 years, or are anticipated to have increased demand within the next couple of years. And supporting markets are really those that are located near these established markets and have the infrastructure to support excess demand. Example, Scottsdale, Phoenix, Tampa in Florida, Jacksonville in Florida, as you can see from the map here. And here's just for you to see an action shot, really, is that these pitch participants are currently underwriting, or have and will be in the next cohort, will be underwriting and also analyzing hotel deals and markets. So here's Sanaa, someone who pitched in 2021 in the past pitch competition that we just had. She's pitching and presenting on the San Jose market. So again, our hope and our goal is to get some of these deals from the pitch competition, because we teach them how to analyze the markets and underwrite the hotel deal. And then they put in this amazing, tremendous work from what they learned from the 9-stage hotel investment roadmap. And then from there, we try to acquire as a firm, and hopefully the fund will be able to fund the hotel deal. And this is where you come in as an investor. And again, this is just a snapshot as to what our current pipeline looks like. Again, as you can see, some of them do come from our network and our women-led projects, and then also from the pitch competition. So we have a few Marriott Select Service that we're currently looking at right now, some in 3 in Florida, because Florida is a pretty great market right now. But we can go in depth later if you all have questions, but these are just some of the pipeline that we have. And moving on, so really, this fund is open to accredited investors. So you do have to be accredited in order to invest. And what does that mean? So the requirements for an accredited investor is really that you have an annual income exceeding 200,000 or 300,000 for joint income, a net worth of 1 million or more, either alone or with a spouse, or an entity or trust is considered an accredited investor if it has assets in excess of 5 million or all the owners are accredited. We can definitely answer questions on that, but just so you know, this fund is for accredited investors only. Kind of speeding up just because I know we want to get to questions just in case we have them, but here are the next steps to joining.
So I want to point out that this particular fund is for accredited investors, but please, if you have an interest in investing and you're not accredited, or if you don't, have the minimum investment for this one, please, still follow us, because we've been looking at some assets that may not fit into the fund. We may do some individual property investing. So please, follow us and let people know about us, whether they want to invest or whether they want to compete or just learn about investing. We want to be here to serve the community and bring more people into commercial real estate investing. Right now, just hotels, but that will expand to other asset classes. So be the first to know when we expand to other asset classes. But if you are ready and interested in investing and joining the fund, you can go to investors.tltsolutions.net, or you can visit our website at shad.fund. So SHAD.FUND. You can find some details and watch a video about the fund, but all the information to enroll to get access to the documents can be found at investors.tltsolutions.net. But essentially what you do, you request access to the portal for the offering documents. There's 3 basic offering documents. We have a private placement memorandum, an operating agreement, as well as a subscription agreement. And the PPM is really a legal document of disclosure, so letting you know who's involved and the background of all the sponsors, TLT Solutions as the fund manager, and just tells you the risk associated with investing from a legal perspective. That's all there. And then our operating agreement tells you how the fund will operate, how the fund manager will get paid, how you will get paid, what happens to the company upon different scenarios, all of that, and what we're focused on in purchasing for the fund. You review those documents, and then you can sign them on the portal with electronic signing. Then you would fund by wiring your funds to the escrow account. Now you can sign up for the fund. We will do a capital call. You can fund early, or you can fund at the capital call, because right now, until we have our first seated property, we're not going to call for capital. I want you to keep your money in the stock market or wherever it is, because it is very healthy right now. So we are not we're not calling for capital at this moment, but it will come very, very soon. So you want to be ready. And then we would execute. So we have to review your application, and then we accept you if you meet the qualifications. And we also like to know who our investors are and get to know you, because we're really a community as well. We just are not transactional. We don't want just people, putting money into the fund. We want to be a resource. We have investors who have invested with us to learn, and then they've gone out and started their own funds, or done their own real estate investing. So we're a resource to help you understand the process and just the experience that it takes to go through one of these fundraisers and manage the asset. And then once you are an owner in the fund, you'll have access to the portal where you can find all of your documents. We do provide monthly financial reports, as well as quarterly. We do quarterly Zoom meetings, so you have an opportunity to ask questions real time and interact with the other fund members. We are very transparent, and again, we like to be a community, and hopefully we can get together again soon live. We'd like to have annual investor meetings. We haven't had one in a while, but when things are back to some normalcy, I don't even want to use that word, but we will get together again. And that's an opportunity to network and talk to other people about, what are they invested in? How are they building wealth? This really is about helping people to build generational wealth and to close the racial and gender wealth gap. So you can be a part of the solution. And again, having that proactive approach to investing and helping us with the mission, we greatly appreciate that. And we need, some of our lead investors are, really doing it, of course, to earn the income, but, knowing that the social impact that they have, when a woman has an opportunity, to own and grow and create businesses, that a woman really changes the world. So that's the end of the presentation part. So if anyone has any questions, we would love to answer any questions. And if you want to, you can go back. If you want to, watch the pitch competition and see, what it's like or what it's about, especially for those who are interested in participating, please check it out on our website. We have the 2021 live stream available. And last year we were fortunate to have Stephanie Lenartz, who is the president of Marriott, the first woman president of a major brand, to be our keynote speaker. So I had a chance to sit down with her and talk with her about, her role as a woman in probably one of the largest companies in the world, hotel companies. That was quite exciting. And again, as Viviana told you, we do have support and sponsorship for what we're doing in our efforts from Marriott, Hilton, Hyatt, IHG, and also Choice. And so by having those relationships, it also helps us in our endeavors as we acquire and develop these hotels. Thank you.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Tracy and Viviana. This was awesome. As Cherie said when we started, this is one of my favorite topics. You guys are one of my favorite guests of all times within the 10K project, because it was the thing for me of all the investment opportunities we've presented. It was the thing to me, or for me, where I never considered it as an option. And so when you came and talked to us now, I guess, a year and a half ago, I think it's been, it was that thing that made me say, I could do that. Like, this is possible for me. And it started me thinking bigger than ever I had ever done before, right? I started realizing that my goals and dreams were so small considering what opportunities were really out there for me. So Tracy, thank you for that, because you did that for me the first time you came. And since then, I have really looked at my investment journey very differently than I started. So thank you very much for that.
You are welcome.
We have got a couple of questions, but I want to touch on a few things. I understand that this particular fund is for accredited investors. And one of the things I want to say to the community watching or will watch the replay is, you may not be eligible this time, but like Tracy said, please stay in touch and follow her journey, because there may be other opportunities. But the other part of that is, you may not be eligible today, but then we need to start thinking about, how do you make that $200,000 annual, and $1 million net worth? How do you make that possible so that you can begin to get in on deals like this? And that's where the 10K project comes in, right? We're teaching about these alternative investment opportunities. We're teaching about the side hustle opportunities, right? How do you make that extra income? And we're also teaching you how to be more financially savvy so that you can save and have disposable income and change the trajectory of your life. So all of this is full circle. It all works together, right? So, we wanted to bring Tracy back because I think this is an amazing opportunity. We do have many accredited investors in the community that can take advantage of this. But for those that are not accredited yet, I'll say yet, then now you know what you have to do and what kind of opportunities exist for you once you become accredited. So there are a few questions. Looks like we had a question that says, are properties being purchased globally or just in the US?
So right now we're focused in the US. We're going to expand into all of North America, which would include Canada. Of course, right now, Canada, US, a little closed. So right now, totally focused in the US. And this fund would be a US or North America based fund. But again, this is just the beginning. So again, we will be expanding. I have no doubt we'll be expanding. I think we would probably have been announcing expansion if COVID hadn't happened. COVID is, in some instances, it's sped up things, in other instances, it really slows down global, type of growth with this type of industry.
Very good. And the other question we have here is, the minimum is 50K. Can 10 people set up an entity and each put in 5K?
Absolutely. We do have investment groups that come together to invest. Yes.
The key there is that you have to still be accredited. So remember the slide that Viviana showed, is you have to have either the $5 million in assets or everyone has to be accredited. So, but remember that. Very good. Talk to us about the masterclass a little bit also. I think this is an opportunity for people to learn. Tell us where we can sign up, how we can sign up.
Sure. So you can go to shehasadeal.com. Not she got a deal, but she will get a deal if she signs up for the masterclass. I met with the Capital guy yesterday and he kept saying, I like this, she got a deal. It's like, I like it too. So they can go to shehasadeal.com. So with the masterclass, what it is that, you will be taken through the 9-stage hotel investment roadmap. We have 2 components to our masterclass, actually really 3 components. So we've turned our masterclass into a mastermind as well. So there is a self-study component, which teaches you, the basics. And you can go through that on your own, 9-stage process. But we also meet in our masterclass / mastermind every 2 weeks. And so the idea, if you're not familiar with the mastermind, is really that you're helping and uplifting one another. So you got to be willing, really to share, what your challenges are. You want to celebrate your successes, but the idea is to help one another to get to that next level. Yeah. So again, you can go to the website for that. But most importantly, if you are wanting to put in the rigor and the work to be in the pitch competition, you can actually win $50,000 in equity into the fund. Okay, so if you're a early careerist, you can win $50,000 and you will be an owner in the fund, just like I described in the structure. So you will win, and you can do that with the team, or you can do it as a solo team. But if you win, you get $50,000. So you are instantly a hotel owner at that point as the fund, grows and acquires the assets. With being in the pitch competition, you are going through the master classes as well. There are 3 levels in the master class for the pitch competition. So there's the self-study, which is the same. And then there's the master classes, which are Zoom. And we have luminaries who come and provide knowledge and wisdom on those particular steps. And they become a network for you to help you on your journey. So it really catapults you on your journey by making those meaningful connections. And then we have another layer that we've added this year, which is called a workshop. So because we have today's woman, and today's women are expected to close their deals, then we are going to a level deeper. So really holding, for example, how do you read a contract and execute a contract, like really going through every section, of a contract and understanding what it means. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to do that. But I promise you, as a person who has signed some big contracts and then came back and said, I agreed to that. I did. I didn't. Oh, wow. Okay. That's what that meant. And some of those clauses were executed during COVID, where you're like, you never thought, that an event would occur that we've been through, and how important it is to understand the obligations that you have in your contract, whether it's, your contract of sale or your loan agreement is another contract that we're taking you through and understanding, the lender expectations and what the lender can or cannot do. And so COVID was a situation where the lender could have, done things. Many chose not to, out of grace,
Right.
but they could have. And so definitely understanding that contract language and what you're signing, because every contract's not the same. So, some people go and sign contracts just not knowing, having a good attorney or understanding, you can say, whoa, wait a minute, where's my cure period, right? Like, can we, and now that we know a COVID can exist, you're like, well, let's put a clause in there that says, in a pandemic situation, you're going to give me more time, to cure versus, there's different things, but knowing can help your lawyer and help you, really put in place whatever you need to put in place, just to mitigate your risk and your chances of a default for whatever reason that may come about, because stuff happens.
Right. We've got a question in Facebook from Octavia. She
Uh-huh.
says, how do I follow your group to stay in the know? This fund is a bit much right now, is a bit much right now, but putting it on my goal list. However, would like to join other projects.
Yeah. So go to shehasadeal.com. And I think it's connect with us. Maybe Anna can help me with that. But just subscribe. And, don't, when you get we do a newsletter every Tuesday. Just read it, scan it, go through it. Some fun stuff. I mean, we're going to be meeting on April 28th and 29th in McLean, Virginia, at the McLean Hilton Hotel. And so, come meet us, right? Just come and be a participant and watch. And the pitches, get involved. People have told me they learned so much. Even people who've been in the industry came last year and sat through every pitch, and they were like, wow, like I learned something. I didn't realize that. I didn't know how to do that. So, come, and we have a luncheon, and we have a lot of fun at our luncheon. So we invite you, and we invite anybody's welcome to come, to come and support the women who are pitching and learn from the experience. So you'll know when we're selling tickets, and we even have ways to win from watching at home. This year, I'm really excited because we've been doing a raffle where you could win free stays. Like we have people who won a 3-night stay to the Hilton, any Hilton worldwide.
Wow.
Just because they participated in rating our teams and giving feedback. They got put into a raffle and won free nights, like anywhere in the world. I was like, can I have one?
Right.
I'm eyeing a couple of hotels. But we also, we gave away, different prizes, gift cards and swag bags. And so this year we're going to be having for those who can't make it to the DC area for the event, we're going to do some pre-event swag bags, for those who are interested. So you could just feel a part of it and what we're doing. But again, we give out a swag bag, gave out swag bags at the event. And, I know everybody, just yesterday I was pulling out, we had one of our gracious sponsors gave out these pink, beautiful portfolio, or not, what do you call them? Passport covers, like the wallet kind, where you can put the money in and the credit cards. And I pulled mine out, and somebody's like, where'd you get that? And I was like, come to shehasadeal.com. Never know what you're going to get. But yeah, we give, to all of our attendees, we always have a special treat for them from our sponsors.
Very good. Ladies, another great session. Thank you so much. Viviana, I'm so happy for you that you get to learn this industry alongside such an amazing woman. And Tracy, your reach back game is tight. Okay. I mean, what you're doing for these young women and now today's woman, you are really changing lives, and thank you in advance, because I know you're going to change mine, because I have been inspired from the day I met you. So, keep doing this great work. We will all stay in touch. and look out for the next deal.
All right, sounds good. And we're looking for an intern too. So if
Oh.
anybody wants,
Yeah, definitely.
Tell us about that. Tell us where the people can find the information.
yeah, info at shehasadeal.com. So anybody who's interested in learning, Viviana will tell you I'm very patient sometimes, but yeah, I mean I take the time to I try to teach a little bit in every presentation, but for those who work on our team will be able to really learn and understand what's going on. But we have some exciting opportunities to come be a part of everything we're doing. So it's not just the competition and She Has a Deal, it's asset management of our hotels that we currently have. And we made it, we're still here. After COVID, we're still here. It's been mighty and challenging, but we're excited about, and we're planning right now for like what that future looks like post-COVID. So
that's wonderful. Thank you again, ladies. Have a wonderful evening. To everyone watching live and watching that will watch the replay. Thank you guys for joining us. And don't forget, Family and Friends Day, Monday, September 13th. Please look at your newsletter for all of you that are members, or actually the non-members get a newsletter as well. Look at your newsletter from 10K Project so you can find the link on how to share Family and Friends Day. All right, guys, have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Inviting us.
Bye.
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 Thank you. Bye-bye.